Oh, it is Friday. Yes, it is. And it's 2 days before Christmas. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We are
Happy Kwanzaa, all of that.
Yes, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. Gunner off today, celebrating wifey's birthday. Good for Derek and Trish. Enjoy themselves. Hope they're having a great holiday out there. What's up, everybody in the chat section? I see Fitness Rebel. I see Eagles 0536. I see Big Will. I see Sean Clark. I see Leo. I see Chris. I see Drer. D-R-E-R. I see Jeremiah. I see Robert. I see Tyler. What's up, everybody? I see Sweens. I see you guys. Hope you're doing well out there, and I appreciate you hanging out with us on this day. Hopefully you're off. If you're not off, hopefully it's going to be one of those days. I don't know. Barrett and I can't really relate, but from what I hear, you go into the office and everybody's drinking eggnog and you're giving presents and it's fun and it's not real work being done. So I hope you have a chill day out there, everybody, and we will provide you with 3 hours of power, 3 hours of entertainment. How you doing, B? Everything good?
Everything's real good, man. Everything's done as far as shopping, Christmas list, all that stuff is done.
The hard part.
Yeah, I gotta go pick up some lobster tails after work tonight. I'm making lobster macaroni and cheese, so I gotta pick that up, and that's the only thing I gotta pick up, man, in the stores. And I'm really done. So once I lock it down tonight, I'll go do my job, pre and post game show, and then after the Eagles victory, go back home and wake up the next day and open up gifts.
There you go, man. That's it.
All planned out.
So I in our area where we live, Barrett's in South Jersey. I'm in Pennsylvania, but we have some really weird weather over the next couple of days. So we're actually getting a little bit of snow right now where I'm at, but it was like early this morning. It was like 55, like really early. Mm-hmm. We're going down to 6 degrees by 1 a.m. tonight. That is an unbelievable swing, man. And then into tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be real cold. High tomorrow of 18, 1-8. So bundle up, man. Santa's going to have his long johns on.
Right.
Take care of the folks. That is for sure, man. But yeah, so crazy weather out there. So be careful if you're out there on the roads, no matter where you are. But hopefully you're doing good. And, here's the good thing, Barrett. We've been talking about this all week. As opposed to having to wait till a Monday night, which can be torturous to get that extra day. One less day for this Eagles game is awesome. The fact that the game's tomorrow, we're not usually on the day before a game like that. It's pretty cool,
bro. And then you look at it. Friday is actually the precursor of the ass kicking we're going to give Philadelphia today. Man. You know what I'm saying? Today is just a precursor.
Yes,
I'm still hyped, man. I'm so hyped that I'm blue. Look, I'm literally blue right now. I don't know what's going on, man.
By the way, I love your color coordination. I always meant to say this to you. That looks better, actually.
Yeah,
it seriously looks less blue now. Yeah,
and it'll go back. Watch.
So you have your frat brothers, right?
Yeah. Our purple and gold.
Okay. You always color coordinate with the ring.
And the ring too. Yeah.
That's
the gold ring.
Like, how many different rings do you have,
bro? You know what? I got a bunch of them, man. These are great because when I'm on studio or I'm on set, we have these glass tables, and when you put your and it hits it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it used to irritate
They're like
me
silicone,
so much.
the ones you have on, right?
Yeah, these are silicone. So you can get I get like a 20 pack for like $17 off.
Is that right?
Yeah, I get
That's
them
cool.
off Amazon. So
okay,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like it, man. All right, so couple things to dive into. So we got the Eagles. I get today's a flight day. They'll do a little they walk me through it, Barrett, no pun intended. They'll do a walkthrough today. Hop on a flight later this afternoon. Get in there, get in their hotel, kind of chill, and then it's on tomorrow, man. So just walk me through what today and tomorrow look like prior to a 4:25 start.
Well, they're probably just getting through with the walkthrough right about now. And they'll jump on a plane. They'll be on a plane probably about 2:30. They'll land in Dallas right around 7 or 8. They'll get to the hotel, check in, and they'll probably have meetings around 8:30, an hour meeting, a pre-meeting, and then they'll go eat, and then it's lights out. You know what I'm saying? Time to go to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's they take a lot of your time when you get there. When you have games like this, they'll want to take a lot of your time. Usually you get a little more time because you'll leave a little more earlier in the day. But this game is huge. So they're going to try to occupy as much time as they can from the players.
Right.
That way they go in, not to say that they won't be focused, but it leaves a lot it leads a lot to you staying focused. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're not going to have a problem with it. This is Dallas week. Anytime it's Dallas week, it's just a different mentality, bro.
Well, I think here's the good thing, right? As far as heightened concentration, one, it's Dallas. Enough said. Two, you have a backup quarterback, which, I mean, I think every player knows I'm going to raise my game up a level here. I got to be, particularly dialed in. It's not Jalen, and that's not a shot at Gardner Minshew. That's just the way the guys think, period, when that's the case. Well,
especially from an offensive lineman standpoint, you're going to want to protect him like he's the president. Because right now, this is a game in which you already don't like your opponent. It's already innate in you to go out there and just want to totally dominate. But you just want to give a little more extra. Not to say that you wouldn't give that extra for Jalen Hurts, and you'll probably give just a little more for Jalen Hurts because of all the stuff that Michael Parsons was on. But you're going to give a lot more effort and make sure you finish a lot more plays when blocking for Miles Sanders and make sure you're protecting for Gardner Minshew. So it's he's got a lot to prove, and he's going to have them guys wired up and ready to rock. I mean, just cross your T's, dot your I's. Everything is going to go in there. They're going to be hyper-focused on this game.
Yeah, I agree. I hear you with that. All right, so also we have the Sixers hosting the Clippers. And by the way, Todd Archer from ESPN, he is the Cowboys beat writer. He is going to be joining us on reporter. He's going to join us at 12:30. Flyers lost to the Leafs yesterday afternoon game. Last night, Barrett, let's talk about this for a minute. Last night, Jags and the Jets. Now, the Jags, I love seeing what they're doing. I love what Doug's doing. Yep, they're on fire right now. They are now a half game back of the Titans.
Look who's taking a page out of Nick Sirianni's playbook, or Shane Steichen, whoever you want to call it.
Yeah,
you see how much running he did yesterday?
He did, and the misnomer is that Trevor Lawrence is a statue. He's not. He's very mobile,
very mobile, very athletic quarterback.
Yeah. So, and he looks like it's really starting to click for him, man. Like he's been over about the last 6-7 weeks has been, what they hoped he would be when they drafted him first overall. He's been excellent. Doug's doing a good job. ETN went over 1,000 yards. They already have 1,000. They might have 2,000-yard receivers. I mean, you think about what they were 3-14 last year with the debacle of Urban Meyer. To potentially get them to maybe a winning record and the playoffs for Doug in his first year is a hell of a job that he's done down there.
Well, he's given them the ability to be themselves, man. I think they said it was like a guy holding a radio going down
boombox. Yeah.
I'm like, what is that all about? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know Doug is a player's coach.
Yep.
But the biggest thing, he's got them guys believing in his culture. He's totally changed the culture. And that's the biggest thing. When you enter into a locker room that with a losing culture, it's hard to get guys out of that. It's hard to get them out of that funk, just like it's hard to get winning teams out of their winning culture. Like even as far as Pittsburgh, I mean, same way. They're not used to this losing culture. This will be the first time that they don't go, they're not above 500 in what? Countless years.
You know right. I mean? Since he's been there.
Yeah. So, and then we talk about here with the gold standard. The gold standard's been handed from Andy to Chip kind of almost screwed it up, but then it then went to it's went to player to player, not it went to player to player. Saying the players are given that same vibe that they had in 2017 that they had back when those guys were playing in the Super Bowl before. It's just a vibe that they have, vibe that they're going through. Yeah. And Doug took that same vibe down to Jacksonville, and Nick Sirianni just adopted the vibe that the owner left there. Right,
no question about it. All right, then the flip side of that is Zach Wilson's a disaster area. Like I'm telling you, Barrett, he will never suit up for the Jets again, unless White, Strevler, and Flacco all get hurt. They unless there's massive injuries, he will never play for the Jets again. I'm telling you right now.
Did you see how bad that was, man?
It was awful. It was tough to. That game stunk.
It did.
It was. Again, we all watch it. I watch it. You watch it. We love the NFL. We could be real. That game stunk last night.
It was crazy, man. Like Doug at least got his team believing in them going out there and fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that from Wilson. Wilson was like, he had a laissez-faire attitude about how he was playing. He was playing horribly, man.
Yep.
Like, they were trying to hype him up a little bit, say, hey, you don't have a read here, just go for the check down. When in all actuality, there's a post flag route that was wide open to a tight end. He didn't even look at the tight end. He was wide open. He had beat the linebacker over the top. He had beat him by 5 yards.
Yep.
All he had to do was throw the ball as a boot. All he had to do was throw the ball down the field. He didn't even look at it.
No, it's bad. It's footwork. It's you know what? It's mechanics and it's confidence. His footwork's terrible. I don't know what happened during the reset because he didn't learn anything, or it's just they tried to teach him and he's not capable of it or whatever, man. This is a classic case. Now, I'm not telling you his last year at BYU, he didn't have a good year. He did. But it's a classic case of falling in love with a guy who's in shorts and not really, digging deep into what's going on here. And also really not vetting him well enough as a leader. It's a mess. And I honestly, man, like I think they'll ride Mike White going forward. And I think Wilson's going to be elsewhere next year. And I don't think it's going to be as a starter either.
How can he can't go out there and demand anything.
No,
he absolutely sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever brings him in is going to bring him in as a project. And I absolutely can see the Eagles bringing him in and try to, resurrect his career. Can you imagine that he comes here?
That's yeah. Well, if Gardner walks, let's go. Let's paint a best case. Gardner goes out there, plays his Cowboys game, and lights it up. Okay, or plays really well and they win. I don't know, light it up, but it plays really well. Plays like he played against the Jets last year. He was 20 of 25, 2 touchdowns, a 33 passer rating. Let's say he does that. They win. That's on the national stage like that. We know he wants to be a starter. He makes no bones about it. He ends up going somewhere next year where they're willing to give him a chance, right? Let's say that ends up playing that out that way. You're in the market for a backup. Like I don't think they think Ian Book's that guy or anything like that. So that's not crazy. Jets cut him. You can get him on a real cheap deal.
Yep.
And just build him back up.
He has the talent to do it. People are starting to find out he doesn't have a stronger arm that they thought he did. What he did in shorts and those pro days, man. He lit it up, man. But there was no defense out there.
Right.
And that was the big thing. No defense means you're going to look like you're a pro. You're going to look like you can make all the throws. You could tell he just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. They don't believe in him either. You could just see it, Barrett. You know it as a player when that's the case. Those guys don't. They like Mike White. They don't like him.
You can see it. You can see the receivers and their demeanor and how they were, how they're approaching. I mean, they were coming back and breaking up plays like they were DBs. Mm-hmm. They played DB more than they played receiver yesterday.
I think Chris is right. Wilson rolls here. Look out, single MILFs. It's on. It is on. Chris is correct. Yeah. But no, you're right. And you even heard it earlier in the year, like Garrett Wilson, when Mike White took over, was like, that dude's my dog. Like right away, it was like, you could tell like he was it was so over the top for Mike White. No disrespect to Mike White, but it was so over the top for Mike White. It was kind of like something's going on with the other guy that they're going this hard for Mike White. You just knew it.
Bro, and deservedly so, man. I was looking at just look at the demeanors of the wide receivers, man. And like Corey Davis came back to defend that pass, and he just threw us up like,
yeah, he's like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
and by the way, Saleh waits way too long to pull the trigger.
Way too long. Like what? But excuse me, but who the hell is that quarterback? He's not even on the roster.
Why is Flacco there if you're not going to plug him in?
Right.
Why is he even there?
But he's not even on the depth chart. Like I use our lads a lot for rosters because they have they usually have the guys that are hurt on the roster and who's there. This guy is not even on the roster.
Yeah,
he's not even. I think he might be. He's a practice squad guy. He's a practice squad guy.
Yeah, that he got elevated from the practice. He's bounced around. He was in Arizona. I think he played under Kingsbury at Texas Tech, but he's bounced around. Yeah, my man has bounced around. He was on the Miami practice squad. I think he was with the Ravens on their practice squad, and that's what it came. And at least, look, he's not the most talented guy in the world, but he gave him a little juice.
Yeah, he did. And he's got a little moxie about him, man.
Yeah,
got a little moxie, man. He's from South Dakota, actually.
Oh, is that where he's at? Yeah, but it wasn't good, man. And anyway, so tale of two quarterbacks, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later. That class, that 21 class, because it's an interesting class, Barrett. You have Trevor Lawrence, who looks like he's, going to be that guy. You have Wilson, who went right after him at 2. You had the Niners, who traded up for Trey Lance. Who knows what his future is? I don't know where things lie there. And then there's Mac Jones, who's a real sort of question mark right now in New England. So that's an interesting case study, which we will get into a little bit later. But I don't, I watch. When you're watching that last night, you could just see a guy's kind of like melting, and that's exactly what's going on there.
But I mean, who is he to act like the way he was acting, though? You know what I'm saying? Like he's like ho hum, like oh well. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just like he just like he attitude, like all right, I'm here, but hey, so what if I stink?
Yeah,
type of attitude.
I don't think he even knows what to do right now. Like I think he's so shell shocked. I'm not making excuses for him. I just think the guy's lost. Like he's gone, man.
Right.
And I don't know if they have anybody that can reel him in at this point. And they're in big trouble, man. They've fallen apart. Well, they've lost 4 in a row.
Yes.
Yeah, they're in big trouble, man.
And
by the way, Jacksonville's getting in the playoffs.
So
Jacksonville is getting in the playoffs. I think Tennessee is
about that.
Headed the wrong way. Yeah,
Tennessee's they're going to lose, man.
Yeah, we're going to do that. By the way, we're going to go through all the big games this weekend, starting with tomorrow's games. Tomorrow's slate is way better than Sunday's. Sunday's a real small slate. There's not much there.
Yeah.
But tomorrow there's way better games. So we will do that. But it is Cowboy week, and don't want to ignore that. And look, you lived it, man. You played it. We've lived it as fans and media members, but you played in that game, and you touched on it a little bit. But I'd love to hear you expand a little bit more on it. Like you were part of that 1995, they stopped him again game is what I like to call it, where Barry Switzer, I think they were on like their own 34 or something, Barrett. It was crazy, right?
Yeah.
So essentially it amounted to what, 3 times, right? It went, there was like, it was 3rd down, then the 2-minute warning hit, but they still ran the play. And then there was 4th down, and you guys stopped them every single time.
Yep.
So that was one of so many memorable Cowboys-Eagles games. But walk me through just one in your
you had guys like Kurt Cavea out there playing. We had
William Fuller.
I mean, all these super talented
Romanowski. Yeah.
Willie T. Romanowski. I mean, it was such a talented team, but it was just a bunch of team of guys that you collected together, man. Like we had a guy who was a truck driver making plays. We had a guy they got him out of liquor store. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like we were a mixed.
That's where I came out of before today's show.
right. So I mean, the talent level. I mean, we had Ricky Waters, Charlie Garner. I mean, my rookie year was incredible because I had such a mix of guys. Like Charlie Garner just came off an injury the year before, comes back. They didn't know what they were going to do, so they bring in Charlie Garner, Ricky Waters from San Fran. He gets here. They go get Kevin Turner from up north. He's with the Patriots. He comes down. He's playing fullback. They got our draft class. Me, Mamula, Bobby Taylor, the first 3 picks in the draft. This is the owner, Jeffrey Lurie. This is his first draft class. I was his first offensive lineman he drafts. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just crazy the amount of talent that we had that just got clumped together. Kurt Cavea was on that team that with the Washington at the time, they were the Redskins, that won a Super Bowl. And I mean, talking about a guy that knew how to play. He and Rollo, Rylan McKenzie. Rylan McKenzie, one of the original Hogs on the team. Guy McIntyre was from the 49ers. He was in that with the immaculate catch or the catch with tight end, in the end zone.
Yeah.
That started off that whole Super Bowl.
Great career. He had a great career.
Oh, yeah. So we just had just a nice group of guys that just, from every aspect of life, man, guys that careers was over. I mean, can you imagine going to get a guy, Ronnie Dixon? He just got off of driving, 14 hours from somewhere. They call him. He leaves the truck down there in Texas. Mm-hmm. He drove wherever he was. He drove to Texas. He leaves the truck down there in Texas. The company comes to come pick the truck up because he's on the next thing smoking, flying from Dallas back to Philly. Going to Philly to sign a contract to play under Ray Rhodes. Ray Rhodes is getting guys from everywhere, man. It was crazy, these guys that we had in that locker room, man. I mean, Michael Zordich. I mean, he looked old back then.
Right.
I mean,
he looked like he was like 45. And he was like 20,
right.
26.
I mean, the roster just was, and then I had, I'm starting because I was supposed to start at guard. I was supposed to come in and compete at guard, but everything happened with Bernard Williams. Bernard Williams is one of the most gifted athletes I've ever seen in my life. First round tackle from Georgia. This guy could block anybody, man. We just call him Stretch Armstrong, man, because he could block somebody. A dude will have him beat, knocking him down, and he'd be able to torque his body, bring his body back, and pop right back up in front of him. A phenomenal player, man. You know, and he gets busted. He can't stay off the weed, and they, you know, they
which now he'd be okay, but back then,
right. So they suspended him, they, you know, cut him, and he was no longer
he smoked his way out of footforgot,
right, you know. Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at Art Monk was on that team. Did you know Art Monk was on that team?
Oh my God, I forgot that. I honestly forgot. I remember he was an Eagle at the end, but I forgot that.
Art Monk, let me see a couple of guys we had. Joe Rudolph. He was from Wisconsin. He's actually he was their head coach for a little while. You know, offensive coordinator. He was on the team. You name it, we had it here, bro. And you know, I was looking at a running back that we had. That he was a return guy. What was his name? A return guy. He actually was one of the better return guys in the league. He returned like a couple punts, a couple kickoffs. You know, Pro Bowl guy, man. And we just had a great mix of guys. And we go out and we're playing this Dallas team. Now, I say about all that talent. I'm talking about all that talent, you know, that we're talking about. Yeah. Because it was nothing compared to what Dallas had.
Right.
Dallas's offensive line were all of them were like Pro Bowlers. Yeah. Mark Tuinei, Eric Williams. The list goes on and on. Their offensive line was the best I'd ever seen in my life at the time, bro. And then, you know, they had the running back, Emmitt Smith. Come on, man. Michael Irvin's out there at receiver. Who was it?
Oh God, they had Alvin Harper, they had Michael Irvin, they had Jay Novacek. They had Emmitt Smith. Yeah, the offensive line had Tuinei, Stefanski, Eric Williams, Larry Allen. That's we're never going to the defensive side of the ball.
All right, I'm saying, you know, they had Charles Haley, Deion Sanders, Darren Wilson. Was it Darren Williams?
Yeah. They had Darren Woodson.
Darren Woodson. I mean, you name it. They were stacked, man. And we go in and they shred us the first game we play them.
Yeah, at their place. Yeah,
at their place, they beat us to death, and then we come back and we beat them in our stadium. And it's like we had 3 games left.
Yeah, it was freezing too, man.
Yeah, if we beat them, we'll be in the playoffs, and we beat them, bro. Yep. It was an amazing time, man. Amazing.
Yeah, and it was just Sil said you played with his boy Stubbs back in the day.
Yeah, Daniel Stubbs. Daniel Stubbs like he just came off a 40 night every night, man. You know what I'm saying? He just looked like he came out. He just drank a 40, man. Come to practice. He just looked like he just drank a 40, man. Daniel, and he had this voice. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you
doing? No, but I mean, it was incredible. And then you guys, like, with that offensive line, with Emmitt Smith, with all that being said, your defense, you know, bowled up and just held them 3 straight times. And there was it was Switzer at this point. Jimmy had left. But there was such we're the Cowboys sort of arrogance, like we're getting this thing.
Exactly.
If you go back, and it's funny, I was talking to Jeff Kerr this morning. I was on with Jeff for Good Morning NFC East. Jeff does a great job on our JAKIB YouTube channel. But we were talking about this. If you go back and listen to the clip of that, Madden and Summerall called it, and Madden was basically like, I can't believe Barry Switzer's doing this. And then after the first time you guys stopped, and he's like, he can't possibly do this again. Like he just kept, like Madden crushed him. He went after him, man. It was pretty fascinating.
Oh man, you know, and then you know guys like Red Hall and Andy Harmon just bow up, man, just bow up. But here comes Kirk Avea from out of nowhere with Zordis to stop him.
Yeah,
stop him in his tracks, man. I'm like the arrogance of him thinking he was just gonna run the play over again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was the same. That was the other thing. I'm not going to change anything up.
Right,
the same thing.
Nothing. Same formation in there. He didn't even flip the formation.
I'll tell you, man, like the place, I'm not going to quite compare it to like Jaws. We had Jaws on yesterday. If you missed that interview, it's great. You just go to our JAKIBsports.com or JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. But we had Jaws on with us yesterday. He said the loudest, you know, he ever remembers was the vet at the NFC Championship game in '81. And he's right. He is right. But a close second was when you guys stuffed them after on 4th down on that play. I'm telling you, man, it was explosive, and I'm sure you can feel it because you know, Barrett, it was a circular stadium.
Yes,
everything stayed in, even though there wasn't a dome on it. It all stayed in, and it was just like, oh, it was almost like this guttural, like, oh.
Bro, I can remember after the game, man, and them after the game with Ray Rhodes, the speech he gave us.
Oh.
Can you imagine the speech he gave us with the arrogance of this MF thought he was going to? It was
how many family members were assaulted? Yeah, oh yeah. They were cats and dogs being assaulted, according to Ray. Yeah, man, unbelievable. Yeah, so that was the all time. And you want to share yours throughout the course of the show in the chat room, your favorite Cowboys Eagles memories. I mean, obviously there's so many of them, but there was the 1981 NFC Championship game. There was the pickle juice game, which really signified the Andy Reid era. When they go into Dallas, it was like Dallas was at the end with Aikman and those guys, and the Eagles were about to ascend with Andy Reid. It's steaming hot, pickle juice. They start the game off with an onside kick, and then they just take the Cowboys apart. And that was I'm telling you, man, it was like a signal, like, all right, there's a new sheriff in town. And the Eagles win that game. There's a bunch of other ones. You brought up one in our pre-show meeting, which is, look, these aren't always good, but there was one in 97 where Ty Detmer makes a late play to Freddie Solomon in Dallas, and the Eagles get in field goal position to win the thing. A freaking perfect snap that the holder and punter, Tommy Hutton, butchers. Like, this was not a bad snap. It was a money snap.
And I'm out there on the field.
Yeah.
And I just know we just kicked the field goal. We're going side. We win. Mm-hmm. And from out of nowhere, he's running. I turn around like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
He's running and tries to, I mean, it's the worst thing ever. And our locker room was right there. Yeah, so we just walked into the locker room, man. It was ridiculous, man. It was painful. Ridiculous.
Yeah, there were a lot of good ones, a lot of painful ones, that's for sure. But that was
definitely painful, man.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of this rivalry. All right, let's do this, Barrett. Let's get a timeout, and we come back. Todd Archer, who covers the Cowboys for ESPN. We had Todd on earlier this year when the Eagles and Cowboys played. He was awesome. Can't wait to talk to him again about this matchup. So we'll get a quickie here. We'll come back. We'll talk to Todd. We'll keep it rolling with the Eagles and the NFL talk. We got some Christmas stuff in store for you later, Christmas movies that we're going to dive into, a couple other things. Don't go anywhere. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because finding that right person to trust with your finances can be a very scary proposition. And I was right there with you for a long time, but I found the right person, and it's Jim Murray. He will help you with anything financially that you're not sure about. You could use him as a consult. You can bounce some things off of him. I know personally I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers with Jim. He can help you with retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. If you have a small business, you're trying to get your employee benefits off the ground, all those kind of things. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. Or you could email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.